Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Today's video is going to be about old Hairy Toe. Came out this morning. We made a short video of the cold start on this truck. It's been sitting about 3 weeks or so. I always take my batteries out of all my rigs that sit over here in the cold in the barn. Always take them out, put them in the garage. Put my battery charger on them every so often. Slow amp charge, just so they don't sit out here and go low and get, when it gets cold, it'll ruin your battery basically. Probably taking them in the house probably be even better, but we've got anywhere from 6 batteries sitting on the bench at one time, so it's a lot to in and out of the house to take batteries, especially when you need one. You gotta go over and get it. Anyway, back to this. Got it started up. Like I say, if you want to see that, it's on a short. Fires up all right. Just carbureted Edelbrock electric choke. Takes a minute, but once it starts, it stays running. What I want to do today, the reason I'm getting this truck out, and it's 20 degrees outside. I can't get it in the garage because El Bumo is too high-o. We can get the front side of it in, but the reason I want to get this truck in is automatic shifter. Now, this truck was originally automatic and is a C6 small block, and I took that out and put in the YJ. So when I started building this truck, I ended up going back with an automatic big block C6. Straightforward. I'll hook linkage and everything back up, and no fabrication needed. Well, I was wrong. True Ford fashion, they change everything. Every couple years they got to change shit, and here we are. So I hooked up the factory column shift to, I had to put the basically like a Z-bar linkage goes from your transmission to the frame. Well, the shifter linkage on the column will not reach that because I used a 79 model or 78-9 off that originally came with that transmission. Well, it won't hook up. The geometry's not right, so well, I'll lengthen it out and this and that. I could never get it to work. Trying to get the right length of rod, and everything has to turn. And I could, if I got it in park, adjusted in park, I couldn't ever get past drive or down to second or first gear, so it was always a hassle. So I got this B&M shifter from a friend of mine, and it's cable. It's got the cable. I made a quick, dirty looking mount, and it'll work, but I didn't have the linkage that goes on the transmission. And so I had to make my own linkage to hook up to the transmission rod that comes outside. Well, I could buy it for like 50 or 60 bucks, but like I always say, I'm broke and I can't afford all these little doodads all the time, so I try to make my own linkage. Well, the geometry is not quite right on it, so, and that shifter, it works. I can find all my gears, but it's not right. And when you're out messing around, if you look at this shifter, let me get in here. If you look at this shifter in relation to where my arm is, I have to reach almost to the passenger side of the truck because Ford is a driver's side drop front end or front drive shaft, so your transfer case shifter is over here on this side instead of over here. I would really like to have this shifter mounted here and it make it easier. So you're always in a bind with your arm straight out trying to pick up on this. So what we're going to do today, or I'm going to do, is I'm going to try to build my own shifter. Something really crude and rude on a lever. It won't have your lockout and all that stuff, but I want to be able to shift it comfortably and find all my gears. So that's what we're going to attempt to do today. we'll get this weaseled out of the barn here and over to the garage out in front, closer to all my tools. So we'll be back. All right, I got Harry over here in the driveway looking at what I want to do on this shifter. We'll crawl under here. I'll show you what I got going on. Okay, this conglomeration here is the factory setup that comes. The column shifter comes down to here, goes with this equalizer, Z-bar, or whatever hell you want to call it. And I have made it, had a original, the factory arm here for the transmission shifter, where your neutral safety switch is and kick down, all that stuff. Couldn't ever get the geometry right, so I made my own little mount here with an arm. It's got multiple holes in it. Well, it was facing this way to accommodate the B&M cable shifter, and it almost hits the exhaust. So anyway, I took all that off, took this homemade bracket off, flipped it over. I've got a set screw I made, holds it right here. There's slots in the rod that comes out of the transmission. So what we need is, up in the cab, the shifter needs to come out right by the transfer case shifter. And I've got this bracket that I had made for a previous project that I found in my miscellaneous box, and it looks like pretty close to what I need up here, but I got to figure out what I want to do on the shifter up there. I went over and looked at my YJ has the shifter I want to put in here. I bought it. It's a Mr. Gasket, I believe. A bunch of companies made them. They're just universal linkage shifter, and I could buy one, but I've got so many things. It's right after Christmas, and we just took that overlanding trip, so guys kind of hard up for money right now. So anyway, I went over and looked at that and made sure I remembered that right, how that shifter worked, and this bracket looks like what I need. So I got to figure out what kind of shifter I want to put here. So digging around in my junk pile, I came across this shifter here, and it's out of a AX5 Jeep transmission, 5-speed. Now I know this is an automatic, this ain't gonna work, but hear me out. This dude, can you see? The sun is shining. This dude here, I can mount it to the floor with the 4-bolt flange, like so. Sits right here. I could weld this bracket to the bottom ball, like so. I don't know, you probably couldn't see that, but like something like that. I might have to trim that ball off there, but I can weld that on there. And this is already the right bend. I may have to straighten it out just a touch, but I think this has enough throw in it to do what I need to do. Yeah, it's gonna want to wobble back and forth, like if you're shifting the H pattern. We may have to make something on the bottom, to put something on the bottom to lock that out. Another plate with a slot in it to keep it from going back and forth. We want it to travel this way. So that's what my plan is for now. It may be all for nothing. That happens. But I'm just going to be out my time instead of buying something. Plus, that's the way this whole truck is. I haven't hardly bought anything. This is all just junk I had laying around. And I save all this stuff for a reason, I guess. I don't know, maybe I'm just stupid. But this is what I'm going to try. That's what I'm going to try to accomplish. So let me do some more measuring and figuring here. Alright, this is what I had in mind. Like that right there. Hopefully this has enough throw in it to do what we want to do. So what we're going to do next is take the quick way to mock everything up and get the measurement on our linkage here, how long we need to make that. We're going to self-tapper these 3 holes into the floorboard, and just for testing purposes. I know they'll come out whenever the guy starts using it very much, but for now that'll give us a placement for our holes we drill bolted in. But we'll put this in, measure for the linkage, and I believe this linkage here was left over from the YJ. Yeah, it comes with different universal rods, and we're going to try utilize this 90 here. We'll probably have to cut it off in this area here, put it on there like so, and we'll cut it off about right here, and we'll either heat and bend it or we'll weld a bolt on it for the other end of the transmission end of the linkage. But we'll get out to the truck and self-tap. Alright, we are in the truck. Going to do a little self-tappering here. A little cussing. Probably lose our screw. Yep, every time. Every time. In a tight spot. Yeah. That hole started. Now it'll stay in place once I get that in. Stay. Make sure it clears the transfer case shifter. Yep. Over here. Yeah, try this second one. Yeah. I don't know if I'm going to get that third one in there. It's right on the edge of the transmission tunnel cover, right where it folds over. So if I go to try to screw that, it probably walk its way down the side of it. We'll give her a shot. Like a glove. All right. Let's see. All the way forward. I bet. See, it looks like a. Get in here. Get in here and see this with me. It's like it's a 5-speed shifter, so it'll go forward and back and side to side. So we're going to need to. I'm going to make a plate on the bottom to lock it out from going this way. I still think it'll work. Park all the way down to low 1, hopefully. And that bracket on the transmission that turns, that arm has got multiple holes down in it, so we may have to do a little playing what hole it goes in to get the right throw on this. But I think it's gonna work. We even got threaded in here. We put our little knobby knob on there, but I think what I'm gonna have to do here is take the torch, put a little heat in this area here, and bend the transfer shifter straight so it will clear when if I ever go to 4 high. So let me get the tape measure out and see what our linkage length is going to need to be. Alright, got it figured out, the length I need. We're going to have to cut it off past this bend the attachment's going to have to be past the bend. So what I'm going to have to do is take the torch, straighten this dude out so I can get another 1/2 inch of length so I can get the right throw on it. So I'm going to fire up this torch, heat it up, straighten it out, cut it off, find what size bolt I need, and then we'll put lock nuts on it. Probably may try to drill it, put a cotter pin in it so nothing comes apart. But let me get this torch fired up here. Got our bolt tacked on there, straightened out, cut it down. I left a little extra length in case we have to change anything. We don't have to go back and kick our own ass here. Got it just tacked on. I got the shifter self-tapered in with the bracket just tacked on. We're going to take it all back out once we know that it's going to work, and then we'll finalize weld and stuff. Let me go put this in and see if this is going to work for us. We're wondering where you been. Where you been? You been digging up moles or what? Yeah, you gotta watch your head there, goofball. Watch your head there, goofball. Alright, let's see how bad we messed up here. That goes in there. That goes in there. Now, getting the cotter pin into the thing. Can we reach it? Come on. Nope. I get it from the bottom. Yeah. Well, that'll work for now. All right. Let me shift her by hand there and we'll see how much it does. Oh. Well, yeah, we're definitely going to have to lock that shifter out from going side to side. Hell, let's go up in the cab and see what it does. Oh, that was my head. Oh, I love gravel. Oh, yeah. Great. It's already been a minute now. Okay. Yeah, that's definitely not in the right spot. There we go. One, that's reverse. Neutral, drive, second. Something right. We're in 1, 2, drive, neutral. What in the devil? Well, I guess we could fire it up. That means I gotta get back out. All right, hang on a minute. All right, here's what we got. Welded that 3/8 bolt on there so it could go in to this top hole. For whatever reason, I drilled the other holes 5/16, and we're not getting enough throw to get down in the shifter down in first gear. So geometry comes into play here. Instead of it being in the top hole, it takes a longer stroke with that shifter to get it in all the gears. So what we're going to have to do is come down to either the next one or the next one or the one. So being they're 5/16, I'm not going to drill them out to 3/8 for this bolt because I don't have enough meat there. So we're going to zip this back off with a cutoff, put a 5/16 on it. Then we can play with our adjustment. And I think it's going to work other than having to put a lockout plate underneath that shifter to keep it from wobbling around. So this is what I made to go onto my shifter shaft out of the transmission. Got this little set screw. It's a 1/4 inch 28 bolt. I ground the end down to a point, That way when it goes into that shifter rod, it comes out of there. That shifter rod has a slots in it. This will go down, that point of that bolt will go down that slot and then keep it locked in place. So let me get the cutoff wheel on this and get it cut off. All right, back at it. Ah, forgot my shifter. Now I'm ready to put this in. Got all the way under here and forgot my shifter piece on the bench. Crawl back out. And once again, on the gravel. Gotta love it. First, second, drive, neutral, reverse, park. Reverse, neutral, drive, second, first. Yep. There's park. Right there. Cautery pin. Come on, find the hole. Some hair around it. Find the hole again. There, we got it. Put our little net out. How did I get in there earlier? Damn it. Well, I can't do it with a glove on. Yeah. Great. Grand. And of course, threads got a welding BB in them. Can't tighten it all the way down. It's all right. Good enough for testing purposes. All right, let's go through this again. There's park. Oh, park. Might be a little quick on the reverse, neutral, drive, second, first. Hey, look at there. All right, let's go on the cap. Let's see what. All right, we're still having issues. I'm gonna fire it up. I think the lever won't, when it goes into park, that lever is like this, and it's trying to pull it. It won't go down. We may need to move our lever up this way so when it's in park, it's actually pulling back instead of trying to pull straight. So we'll fire it up and see. So it should be in neutral. It's reverse. Yeah, it'll kind of go in park. It's going. Reverse, neutral, drive, second, first. Got all the gears. I think I need to tighten up the tighten up the hole on the little L bracket I put on the shifter. The hole is probably about a 1/16 inch bigger than the rod that goes through it. It's got a little bit of a wobble in it. I'd like to weld that up and re-drill it to get it a little tighter tolerance fit, so you ain't got any slop in this shifter. But yeah, I think it might work. Reverse. I know it's a hell of a lot easier than that B&M shifter that's in here. Oh, that's terrible. Those are terrible, and they're pricey. My God. For the cheapest thing you can get is like 280 bucks. And it's junk. Man. Well, let's see if I can get that hole welded up. And get the hole welded up and then make us a little bracket to lock out this shifter from wobbling back and forth. All right. All right, we got everything welded up. Everything welded up, and our little lockout plate is made. Precision fit. Laser alignment. No. Use the old eyeball. Made my cuts, and that should keep that shifter over that way so it ain't going back and forth. Now I'm gonna go out and drill the holes in the floorboard so we can put some, probably put some 5/16 bolts in there, and that'll be fun trying to get those on there. But I got the hole welded up, and I took the carbide bit on the air grinder, made my hole a little bit better fit so it ain't sloppy inside there. So let me go drill some holes and get some hardware and stuff, and we'll put this thing in for the final time. About that. Went ahead and took the whole pan out, made it a little easier to mount this deal. Guy can't hardly get up underneath there with it's in the truck and the transfer case in the way, but that is how it mounts. My little block off plate I put in there to keep it from wiggling back and forth the wrong way, so now it just has this action forward and back. So now we're gonna mount this back in the truck and hook everything back up to the transmission. All right, I think we got it. Goes through the gears now. Let's show you here. It's in park, reverse, neutral, drive, second, and first. Before, I couldn't ever get it all the way down to low one. Not very easy anyway. That B&M shifter, you really had to search. You really had to search for gears now, or before. Now, you can kind of feel where they're at. Where that cable, you couldn't feel. I mean, it was just real small movements. Got a little knob on it. I think we're going to be okay on the transfer case shifter. We're going to clear it now, so got it all bolted up and in there. So I'm going to take it for a little rip around the yard and maybe down the woods where it really counts, where you get in a bind. And I was always searching for reverse hard. So anyway, I'll take it for a little rip. So far so good. Put the old shifters The old B&M shifter in the barn over there. Never know, old guy might need it for something. Let's go down the woods. Need to get down here, chainsaw. Oh, well, it's too far off. Whip off in the creek. Oop. Didn't expect that drop. Trail's getting a little narrower. Need to get down here with a chainsaw in this truck and start getting down trees cut up and out of here. Used to have all kinds of trails down in my woods, but as you can see, there are trees down everywhere, and that's one of the reasons I built this truck. It's a lot easier to turn around now, shipping wise. I bet I'm gonna run over this tree up here, not paying attention. And yep, turned a little too sharp. Back up. We'll just run it over. How about that? That's as far back as we can get. Turned around here. That's what I had to run over. Sorry, I don't have my normal camera stick. Yeah, we can make that one. I've still got the magnetic base on it. It's hard to hold and move around. Back across the creek we dumped off in. Yeah, this truck's a little wider than my tractor. It's hard to hit that. Hard to hit that. Fall off the edge of it. Climb on that. That's good. I think it works out pretty good. As long as she stays in park and we don't roll off. That's my main worry. There's not a... You're relying on the detent in the transmission itself, where normally your shifter will have a detent to lock it in there, but for what it is, it's not a road vehicle. But I've got line locks that I need to put on here to lock the brakes. But when I bought them, I didn't realize they have NPT fittings going into them instead of a brake line style nut. So I got to get fittings to adapt to my brake lines. But yeah, I think we did all right on a homemade shifter for this thing. Got rid of that B&M. I think it'd be a lot more user friendly. But appreciate you guys watching, and we'll catch you on the next one.